We will now be using the split shank template that we created in the first part of the lesson to create a ring. We will also use the pave scallop command for setting some of our mealy stones. So let's open up our template file. Here's our split shank. I'm going to save this as a different file. File, save as. Let's call this the Okay, so we're now editing our newly named file so that our split shank template will remain intact. Okay, so I'm going to start off by bringing in the center stone for this ring, and I'll be using a marquee stone. And we'll dimension it. I'm going to dimension it length and width wise. 6.7 length and a 4mm width, and we'll place it on our center gemstone datum plane. Okay, so we want to create a halo for this stone now. We could come in with our halo template, the marquee. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. Okay, so that you're not limited to the halo template. So I'm going to right click, insert a sketch, we're going to wireframe geometry on the center gemstone datum. Let's use centroid defined by plane, confirm the operation. Okay, now I'm going to right click, reference, and I'm going to reference one edge of this marquee gemstone. Confirm, let's show target. Okay, here's our reference curve. Go to window pick all of it, right click, toggle type. This is now live geometry. Okay, but it's in separate parts, so I'm going to highlight it all again, window pick, concatenate, confirm. Okay, it's a single curve now. Okay, and that's what we want, but you'll notice we have loads of control points. Now in this case it's not an issue, but if you would want to reduce the number of control points, it's very simple. Right click on the curve, reduce data. Okay, the tolerance will dictate how many control points we keep. The default is usually a good factor. Confirm. Okay, you can see the number of control points has been greatly reduced. Okay, we can bring back the target, the 3D environment, to ensure that our curve is still true to the shape of the marquee, which it is. Okay, so now let's exit back out into our part level. Okay, now I'm going to blank out or hide the center stone layer. Okay, here's our sketch. I'm going to project it to the center stone datum plane. Okay, this is going to turn it into a curve in our 3D environment. This is the curve. Now I'm going to trim extend. I want the extend option. Pick the curve. I'm going to extend it both ends, just out here somewhere. We don't need to be specific. Okay, so we have our curve here. Now I'm going to right click, insert a datum. The geometry, I'm going to right click along the curve 50%, halfway, there's the midpoint. Okay, I'm going to flip this datum plane around the X 180 degrees to bring my Y up to the top. Okay, we can get rid of the rectangle. Confirm. Okay, so here we have our curve and our datum plane on the curve that we'll be creating a sketch on. And the sketch we will sweep along our curve to create the halo, or one half of the halo. Okay, so first of all I'm going to unblank, bring back the center stone layer, right click, insert sketch, on this datum, use centroid defined by plane. Okay, so now we are creating the halo sketch. So let's use the draw tool. Okay, I'm going to just come in and start drawing about here down my gemstone to create the seat. Okay, I'm just doing this by eye. We'll come in later and tweak this sketch. Okay, I'm going to hold down the Alt key now to create a curve. Release the Alt key, adjust the curve. Okay, and I'll finish off this sketch, make it complete closed shape. Okay, so this is the general halo sketch shape. Okay, now I want to add a few dimensions. Right click, quick dimension. Start off with this one. This will be important because it will dictate how large our gemstones can be that we pave around. I'm going to set it to be 1.75. Okay, now we've lost this angle here, so we'll put in an angle, then increase it again. So we have control here. Now I also want to come in, if I show target, I want to insert dimension here, just to make sure it's locked in. Again, the final dimension I want to create, if we have control here, we're going to insert a line as construction geometry. Right click, give it a dimension just to lock it in. Can be anything. I'm going to right click, make it grey just so I know I don't need that dimension. Or I could just blank it out. Okay, now the final dimension that I really want is to be able to control this angle here with respect to the horizontal. Quick dimension, this angle. Okay, like so. Let's bring back our gem. I'm going to have to increase this. Okay, so now we have a general control over our halo sketch. Okay, we have the controls that we want to play with, but to ensure that our sketch is complete, we can use our auto constraint tool. This will constrain everything else so that we have a complete, fully constrained sketch. So we pick the base point at the origin, the entities. I'm going to use a shift, holding on the shift key, chain pick all of our curves, confirm. Then you'll see some auto constraints thrown in. Okay, so we can come in now and tweak this halo sketch as we see fit. Okay, so we've got the seat width, we've got this width, we've got an angle control. Okay, I think I'll come in and tweak a few of these. But for the most part, this is looking good. Let's just thicken it up a bit. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the sketch now. I know that I can always come in later and tweak it some more. Let's hide all of our constraints and dimensions. This is that as our sketch. Exit back out into our part level. Now we can sweep this, shape, sweep. The profile is the sketch, and the path is the curve that we created with respect to our gemstone. Do not want to add it, we'll keep it as a base. Don't need to keep the curves. Confirm. There's a halo. Then we can trim this side, the sides datum plane. We do not want to cap the trimmed region. Let's make sure we have the right side. Yep, that's fine. Confirm. We have trimmed our halo. Okay, without the end caps. Now we can mirror this shape across that same side datum plane. And then heal it. We sew the two halves together to create one complete shape. Okay, so there is our halo. Now I think I want to move my gemstone and halo down a bit. So I'm going to show the dimensions of my ring sketch. And now I want to drop my stone and my halo down a bit. So I come into the dimension, it's this dimension here, take the delay solve off, I'm going to drop it down 3. Okay, so that's about right, and now I want to tweak. Let's hide these dimensions again. Now I want to tweak my ring, my split ring shank a little bit. It doesn't need much of a tweak. Attributes, part, the driving parameters. Okay, they're all in here from before when we created this split ring shank template. Okay, so the ring size, this is fine for now. Okay, I want to bring my Z offset, I want to bring this down right to the ring finger. Let's go into front view. Okay, that might be a bit too much. Okay, that seems good now. Let's take a look from the side view now. Okay, I'm going to change the side shank width. Bottom shank width, I'll make this narrower as well. Okay, something went wrong there. Let's step through the history to see where our issue is coming from. Okay, so it seems like our blend is coming into the wrong end of this curve. To ensure that it comes into the right side of this curve all the time, we can use the projector face, project this sketch to our side datum plane, okay, to create our curves. Now the wire, instead of picking the curves, we can right click along, we can specify a small distance along, okay, and this will ensure that it always grabs the right end. Okay, so this is coming together now. The thicknesses are fine. The X angle, that was fine as well, as was our X offset. Okay, how about the Y angle? Let's increase this. Okay, this seems decent now. I think I'll keep this as it is. Okay, I'll confirm this. Now one thing I want to do is in fact erase the mirrors from my split shank history, because we will be working on only one part and then we'll be mirroring that subsequently, so we can get rid of these mirrors. Replay. Okay, let's erase those curves. Middle click. We'll save. Okay, now let's start off with our shank. We'll start off with the melee gemstones and the scallop cutters. So I'm going to trim in the shape ribbon tab. Trim. I'm going to trim this shape to the face of our halo. And I want to cap the trimmed region. Okay, so we trimmed the shape there. Now I'm going to create an ISO curve on this face. Okay, I'll use the third option. I just need the U ISO curve. Confirm. Now I'm going to trim extend it. I want to trim it. Pick the curve. Okay, I just want one end, and we'll reduce it by a small amount. This is where our pave will come up to. Okay, so now I'll come into the pave ribbon tab. I'm going to use the uniform gem array. Okay, it'll give me a bit more control than the gems between two curves. Pick the curve, the surface, and I want my stones to be 1.5 in diameter. Okay, I'll spread the stones, increase the number, and we'll give them a negative elevation, negative 0.2. Okay, let's confirm the operation. Now I'm going to come into the shape ribbon tab, swept rod. I'm picking the curve that we used before, swept rod, diameter, let's say 1 millimeter for now. Confirm the operation. Face offset. Okay, we remember what this rod is used for. It's a combine remove later on. We'll just face offset these so we get a clean combine remove. Now let's blank out this shape for now. Okay, let's come in with our micro pave scallop. Pick the stones. Okay, we want to pick them as a feature. There is our preview. Okay, we want the V-cuts as well. Confirm the operation. Let's start off by tweaking our scallop cutters. Okay, it can be a bit tricky to see the effect that our scallop cutters will have, so we can do it in stages. But I think I want to start off by dropping my scallop width down. I don't want the taper. I'll take these out. I like to reduce my angle. Okay, let's add a bit more height to our scallop cutters. Okay, the surface offset, I'm going to drop this down to 0. Okay, confirm, we'll start off there. Middle click to bring up the tweak again, pick the feature, now we're tweaking the cutters. This one, I'll just make my usual modifications, reduce the distance and increase the cutter angle. Confirm. Okay, and now I'm going to erase the end V-cutter. Okay, I do not want this V-cut at the end here, so I'm just going to erase it. Component, erase, pick the component, middle click. Okay, now I can perform a combine or a merge cutters to cut the material away from my split shank. However, I do not want to merge to remove this one, okay, because it will remove material in a place I don't want it. So I'm going to merge this on its own as a base, this will separate it out from this group. So now when I come into my tools cutters, merge cutters, see I'm picking the feature without our merged NV cut there. Pick the base, confirm, okay, and here are our cuts. I can unblank the rod, now perform a combine remove, the base being this part of the split shank, the operator, the rod, confirm, again here it's coming together now. Okay, and finally for this V cutter here, I'm going to face offset, bring it in to here, and now I can combine and remove, okay, because I wanted to cut only on this side since we have no material there. Combine, remove again, and there is the single cut. Okay, so we don't have much material covering the stone here, so I may want to come in and modify my scallop a bit. First of all, I'm going to open up the rod. I'll drop the diameter of the rod down to a 0.9. We can delay the solve, that's fine. I'm going to come after the tweaks. I'm going to tweak again. Tweak tool. Okay, so I wanted to modify, I wanted to have more material, so I'm going to reduce the scallop width. Okay, so I should have more material left over, and I may have less of an angle, sorry, so that I'm not cutting quite so deep there. Okay, now let's replay. Regenerate. Okay, and there we've got a bit more material over our stones now. Okay, we could change this more yet, but I'm going to leave it as it is. I might come in with a pilot cutter now, just to remove material for rendering purposes. Pick the feature, 0 elevation. Okay, we'll tweak. I always like to reduce my girdle thickness. Let's see how far these cutters are removing plenty of material. Confirm, merge cutters. Okay, so we're in good shape there now. Okay, so there is our split shank with the pave, micro pave scallops. Let's mirror this across to the other side. Shape, mirror. Okay, I'll mirror the gemstones over later. Now we can come in with our pave on the halo, and we could pave in here and again use our micro pave scallops to create our setting, or we could use our prongs. In this case I think I'll just do the prongs so that we move along a bit faster. So to do this I want to create a channel. Here the channel I can create back in my halo sketch. So let's drag the model stop. Okay, I think it was this sketch up here. Okay, that's a bit too far. Okay, so this is the sketch here that I want to edit so that I can create the channel. Let's hide the part level. Let's show our dimensions again and our constraints. Okay, so I want to create a channel in here. Sketch, let's draw a line first of all. I want it to be parallel to that line. Let's give it a dimension. Okay, I did not want it to be construction geometry, so I'll right click, toggle type, I'll right click, dimension. Let's say 1.25, so we can have 1.25mm stones. This will be the width of our channel. Let's insert another 2-point line. On the first point, right click, middle, let's have it the middle of this line. Second point, right click, middle of this curve. Okay, now we come into the constraints. I want to use this perpendicular constraint. Like so. Now let's right click, dimension again. This is the channel depth. You can modify the channel depth. Let's say 0.2. Okay, to finish this off, we need to have 2 more curves. Like so. Okay, so it's a bit messy now. Let's hide our dimensions and our constraints. Okay, so here's our sketch. Now I'm going to use the trace profile to trace the profile that I want to be recognized. This one here. Let's exit back out into our part and play the rest. Okay, so now we have our channel in our halo. Okay, our trim, the ring shank trim to the halo. Let's redefine that, it's not playing. Okay, they've picked an alternative selection. Doesn't appear to be correct, so let's repick our trimming shape. The trimming shape is the face. Okay, so it just needed to be redefined since we modified our sketch a bit. Okay, we'll replay the rest of history and see how it goes. Okay, so this looks good. There's our channel. Now let's come in with our pave in the channel. I'll save the work first. Let's place stones at the end point first, because we will not be able to pave around completely. So let's place stones at the end. Gem settings, place stones, round. Okay, we know we want 1.25mm round gemstones. Okay, and we'll place this one right at this corner point. Confirm. There's the gemstone. Okay, it's at an angle, so we'll come to the shape ribbon tab, move. We'll be moving a component. Okay, and we'll be rotating it. Use the rotate option. Pick the entity, the direction. We can pick the edge, this edge here. Okay, this edge. And now we can rotate to even this stone out. You'll just do it by eye. That seems decent there. Maybe 1 more degree. But I'm just being picky there. Okay, in fact I do want to give this an elevation, so I'm going to open this up. We could redefine it, but I can just open it up, edit the elevation, and I'll give it a 0.2 elevation. Close and regenerate. So we have our elevation in there. Okay, maybe that is a bit too much. We need to edit, we'll open it again, edit the elevation, let's just say 0.15. Regenerate. Okay, now let's come in with the pave around here. I'm going to insert isocurve, just a U. Okay, now I'm going to trim this. We'll be using a uniform, our uniform pave, uniform gem array along this curve. It's a bit more, we have a bit more control over the gem width there. Okay, so first of all, wireframe, I'm going to trim, extend this curve, both ends, okay, just to adjust where our uniform gem array will start. Okay, now we want to adjust the curve, you can see the curve, to the end, or where we want our array to come up to. So about there. Now I can use our uniform gem array. Let's save, pave, uniform gem array, pick the curve, pick the surface. We know we want 1.25mm stones. Okay, we can give them an elevation, 0.15, the same. We can spread our stones. Okay, we seem to have big gaps in there. We have large gaps, so I'm just going to drop my size down very slightly, just so we can get another stone in there. Okay, that looks good. Confirm the operation. Here are our gemstones. We are going to be mirroring these across. Let's first of all come in with our prongs. Gem settings. We'll use the scaled prongs. Pick the stones. I'm going to pick them as components. I'm only going to pick these stones because this is all we need, since we can then mirror. Okay, so the overlap, I'll adjust this 25%. Let's change the height, 0.35. Okay, maybe the width, the distance, I'll decrease slightly, just to get them away from the wall of our channel. Okay, but these seem decent now. Confirm the operation. Tweak, yes, I'll tweak them. Let's see, I'll bring the dome height down. Our minimum prong diameter is 0.35, so let's say the dome is set to be 0.17. 0.17, apply. Okay, and the dome height, let's say 0.3, we'll just bring it down a bit for rendering. Okay, I'll confirm the operation. I can see an issue here, we need to rotate these. Okay, so I'll shape, move, pick the two components. I'll be rotating about direction. Start off at 0 angle. The direction, use an input option, right click between 2 points. The direction is 2 points, and I'll do it between the 2 points at the top of our prongs. Let's rotate. Okay, so we rotate to even them out. Now we need to move. Middle click again, pick the two entities, and we will use a dynamic move. Let's move the handle to line these up. Uncheck that. Now we'll move our prongs. Confirm. Okay, so we've moved them into a better position there. Now we can mirror our components. Remember, use our mirror components command to mirror our components. It's a bit more reliable than using the mirror command. Okay, in our shape room tab. You can use this for all other entities, but when it comes to components, I do recommend using the mirror components command. Okay, so let's pick the datum first of all. Let's mirror across the side. Okay, let's pick the components we want to mirror across the side. Let's try picking them as a feature. These prongs, these stones. At the same time, let's do these stones. confirm the operation. Okay, now I'm going to come in with a prong component replicate. I'm going to put a bead at the end here. Let's just replicate this one. Just place it at the end. Confirm. Okay, again we're going to have to rotate this. Shape, move, component. Okay, rotate it. The direction is along the edge here. You can just see it in here. Grab this edge. Okay, it's not wanting to grab the edge. Let's change to wireframe display mode. There, we grabbed it. Straightened it out a bit, confirm. Okay, now we're going to mirror again. Tools, cutters, mirror components. Pick the datum, it's this front datum plane now. Components, let's see if we can pick the features. Okay, we can't pick that as a feature, so let's pick it as components. And these curves, or these gems, sorry, also. Confirm. Okay, so knowing what we can mirror later on in the design can save us a lot of time. Okay, so there we have our pave. Let's come in with some cutters. Pick the stones as features. Okay, we can't, it's going to pick too many. Maybe it would have been better to do them separately, but let me just pick them as components. Not a problem. Zero elevation. Let's check the amount of material removed. We seem good. I'll just confirm. Merge the cutters. Okay, you can see the material removed there. Let's come in and merge the prongs. Gem settings, merge prongs. Okay, we can pick all these features like this because it will filter out the prongs only. So as long as we have the prongs picked, the base, this is our base, confirm. Let's see if that's gone smoothly. It seems to have done. Yes, they're all part of the same shape now. Okay, now let's come in with the setting for our center stone. First of all, I'm going to move the center stone. I'm going to move it up a bit. Then I'm going to come in with an under bezel. Gem settings, under bezel. Pick the marquee under bezel. Okay, the gem length, this was 6.7. Gem width was 4. Apply, place it on our marquee. Okay, the rest of these options, I think I'll change the bezel angle. I like to have a bit more of an angle there, and I'm going to drop the bezel origin down. Okay, we don't want it all the way up there on our marquee. Maybe we can increase our seat width a bit. Okay, this seems decent. I'm going to confirm the operation there. Don't want to tweak. There's our under bezel. Now I'm going to hide my center stone, my melee stones, okay, I'm going to blank out this halo. Okay, so here is our under bezel. I will merge it to create a shape. Okay, let's add in the chamfer on the inside for our seat. Let's reduce this chamfer. That'll be good. Confirm. Okay, now I'm going to create prongs off this under bezel, or using this under bezel. Wireframe, curve from edge. I'm creating a curve first of all that I can sweep a prong sketch along. This is the edge I want. Let's set it to be red. Confirm. Let's extend it now. Just one end. We'll extend it up a millimeter. Now we'll right click, insert datum, snap it to the end point of this curve. Here we have our y pointing in, that's fine. Let's flip our x over the y, so that's 180 degree, and we'll get rid of the rectangle. Confirm. Let's bring back our center stone and our melee stones, and we'll bring back by unblanking all our halo. Okay, so now come into the gem settings tab. We'll use our prongs command to get a prong sketch. Let's use the V arc sketch, place it on this datum plane, confirm, set our entity filter into sketch. We're going to enter into the sketch environment of this prong to make some tweaks to it. Okay, so I'm going to drop down this width a tad bit, 0.4, drop this down 0.75, and I'll change the angle here. Okay, it's hard to see. Change this angle to line it up with the stone better, so I have to increase this. Okay, so that's in line better. We will have to move this out a bit. Let's exit, shape, move. We'll move the sketch. We want to move it along a direction. The direction, here we're going to pick it as this Y of the datum plane, and we'll drag it out a small amount. So I'll drag it out 0.2, or near enough. Confirm. Okay, now we can sweep the sketch along our curve. Okay, we want to have a scale, a linear. Confirm. There's the prong. Now I may have moved this under bezel a bit too far away from the stone there. So I'm going to come back into the under bezel. In fact, I can use the right click, open, this elevation, right click, edit, let's elevate it 0.1, replay. Okay, I may have brought it up a little bit too much there. Okay, it's not a huge issue this, it's very small amounts. Okay, I'll leave it there. Let's tidy up this prong now. Face offset. Bring the prong down. Let's add some chamfers. Okay, we'll mirror this across the shape to the other side of our marquee. Okay, so there we have our marquee set in better. Okay, let's finally add in a trillion with a wire setting in here. Okay, so I'm going to first of all insert a sketch on the front datum plane. Okay, I'm creating a sketch that I can use to control the angular position and the offset of this trillion. Okay, so this is the angle we can have control over, and we'll give this a dimension for the offset control, and we'll give this just a dimension just to keep it static. Okay, now we'll blank this one out. Come back into our part level, right click, insert a datum on the end of that curve. Okay, we don't want an offset. We'll rotate about the Z axis to bring the Y into the correct position. Get rid of the rectangle, confirm, and now let's place a trillion gemstone on this datum plane. Gem settings, place stones, trillion, let's dimension it, see what we can get away with. 2. Yeah, I think I can get away with a 2.5 in there. Okay, place it on there. And we'll mirror it across straight away in the command. Confirm. Let's come in with our wire setting on the trillion. Place it on there. Okay, I'm going to drop my values down. Okay, I'm dropping it down, not all the way at first, because I want to make sure my wire setting can update nicely. I'm going to reduce my seat width 0.25 to allow me to go all the way down to 2.5. Okay, let's tweak our prong diameter, say 0.5 for our prong diameters. Prong height above girdle, let's say 0.25. Our bend, let's take the bend out. We'll see what happens now. Okay, so I'm going to keep this wire setting. Don't want to tweak, but I'm going to modify my sketch to move the trillion up and closer to my halo. So let's show the dimensions of that sketch we created. The history is getting pretty long now. Right click, show dimensions. Okay, so I want to move it out a bit, budge it out a bit. Let's say 11, delay the solve, and this one will drop down to, well, we're pretty close in there already. Let's just say a 25. Take the delay solve off, confirm, and we'll wait for the regeneration. Okay, we could by this stage drag our feature frozen bar down to freeze our history so that the regeneration doesn't take quite so long. Okay, we've moved it up. Okay, maybe I've moved it up too far there. And I think we could get a little bit closer to our halo. Okay, we want to probably have some contact in there to strengthen this setting so it has support. Let's drop this down to 10.6 delay solve, the angle 24.5, take the delay solve off, and we'll regenerate again. Okay, maybe I'm not happy about this prong being so close in here. But I'm going to leave this now. I think I'll leave it at that. Let's merge shape, merge the setting as a base. Okay, I might just face offset this part very slightly. Bring it into our halo a bit just to strengthen the join between them. Confirm. Okay, and now we're going to extrude cut to trim out to the ring finger. Extruding the template curve list, symmetrical, cut, confirm. There's the cut. Let's save. And now we will mirror the final shapes. I'm going to window pick these. Okay, I'll control unpick the halo. And let's try performing an add at the same time as a mirror. That's added everything together now, so that's nice. Okay, so that is the ring completed. We have our micro pave scallop on our split shank, and we have a halo with prong setting. I'm not massively happy with the trillion setting here. But I may just leave it. You'll save the work. Come on with the rendering studio. Okay, that's pretty dark. I'm going to merge my rendering studio as a base. First of all, I'll move the studio down a bit. I'm going to move this up a bit. Let's change the color. Okay, it's still a bit dark, I might just erase this shape. Okay, we could come in with some fillets to tidy up our ring shank. This will give it a better appearance in the renderer. Okay, it's still quite dark. I'll just let it run.